His world is on the water, with rod and reel in hand. His world is in the wilderness, to the far ends of the earth, seeking adventure and bringing it to you in the outdoor world of Kastaway Kulis. Joe Kastaway Kulis, a world-class outdoorsman, will take you from Africa to the Arctic, into the world of fishing, hunting, travel, and excitement. Now, you're invited to come along and experience for yourself the outdoor world of Kastaway Kulis.
Welcome to another edition of the outdoor world of Kastaway Kulis. And I don't know if you could hear in the background my chickens. Raise 130 chickens for eggs and sell them and stuff, but I like being outside and taking in fresh air because it's getting closer to winter where I'm not going to be able to do it. So I spend as much time sitting outside as possible. And but today's show is going to be a lot of neat things. This next segment coming up is going to be an update on what's happening with the food plots and what I've been doing and getting them ready for fall, and now it's just a waiting game and encouraging. And then we're going to story, memories around a campfire will be about being in Africa and a charging leopard. And I've had quite a few bouts with wild game elephants and Cape buffalo, Kodiak brown bears, grizzly, boy, a lot of things. And those are memories that are once in a lifetime, and as long as you have experience, you can live through them, hopefully. And then fourth segment, we're going to talk about taxidermy because sure, a lot of people have mounts, and the care of them is very important. I think maintenance, so they look good, is an important fact that most people don't know what to do, mainly what they can do. And so it's important things, I think. And being a taxidermist for 50 years, I can give you some pretty good things that you can do yourself, home units, in your home, rather. Like to start about your hunting gear. If you're going on a hunting trip, the preparation is almost as much fun, but definitely adds to the excitement of the trip because it's the planning and the dreaming of what you're going to see and how successful you're going to be, and just on and on. And so I am sitting outside, so if you hear my chimes, I just love being outside instead of a studio inside. But anyways, the preparation is important. I remember one of my early sheep hunts when I was older. It was for stone sheep in my 50s, and bought a new pair of good hunting boots. Your feet and your sleeping and your rain gear are your three most important things. You got to have good sleeping bag and pay more. You do not want to be up all night and have no energy for the next day. And number one, boots, really important. And if you get new boots, you do not want to take them on a trip without wearing them, and not just once to see if they fit. But what you do is you have to break these hunting boots in. You don't want to have bad feet when you're in the mountains or on any kind of a trip. And so what I would do is go to the park, put them on, and each day try to go a little longer. Start out maybe 20 minutes. And then next day, go a little longer and get it to where you're a good hour, hour and a half. And you want to break in the boots. And you also want to get in shape because you're going to be able to climb that extra hill or that mountain, which could be a difference in being successful and not on a trip. So boots are very, very important. And getting them in shape, breaking them in. Sleeping bag, I mentioned. Of course, your gear is important. Whether it's sleeping bag, you got to be warm enough. So make sure you check with the guide what kind of things do he recommend that you have so that you're prepared for any kind of weather. You don't want to be wet. Rain gear, boy, you need to put your money into that because it lasts longer and you do not want to be dry. The problem is if you get wet, especially your boots, if you don't have good boots, and if they're not waterproof or you didn't wax them down the night before, which you do on, say, a sheep hunt. If your feet get wet, if your boots get wet, they're not going to dry out. And so you want to make sure you have good boots. Put your money into boots, rain gear, be warm. If they get wet inside, boy, there's nothing worse than being out in the bush and being uncomfortable. I would always start at my head and go down. What do I need for my head? Do I need sunglasses? Work my way down around my neck. Do I need a scarf? Do I need a gaiter, something to protect? Your neck is so important, and your face. Just work all the way down to your boots. And go also, the guide will recommend, if you're going with a guide, he'll tell you what to bring. If you're just doing it on your own, I always would keep a master list going through it that way, and depends if you're just going duck hunting or you're going deer hunting or maybe moose or you're going for a few days. So you want to be comfortable, and planning is so important to be prepared. And that's not as much, but it's a part of a hunting trip. It's the preparation because it extends it. It's not just going to be the day or the week or the couple weeks that you go on a hunt. It's all the time before, which can be months. But it's all part of it. So instead of it just being a small, just the hunt, it's all the other experiences. And think about that. And it's also, you cannot be in the mountains or on a hunting trip or fishing trip back in the wilderness and, oh, I forgot my binoculars, or I forgot some very small but important things. A little thing like buy yourself a little folding water cup. Nothing like being in the bush, especially in the mountains, and walking, and you need a drink. There's water everywhere. Usually you don't do it from a lake. Depends. Mountain lake could be okay, but there are streams coming out of the mountainside anywhere. You don't want to drink water out of a swamp. But having that little cup, so much easier than having to get on your belly and stick your face into the creek. So a lot of good memories about the past. So it's things that hopefully will help you on your next trip, whether it's tomorrow going duck hunting or squirrel hunting or going on a trip you've been waiting for all year. And hopefully some of this stuff will help you on your next trip. So we will take a break and talk about food plots and how they're coming along. We'll be right back. White-tailed deer hunters want that little edge while hunting deer? Why don't you consider Kodiak deer pads with freeze-dried doe estrus? These pads can be easily hung around the blind or tree stand while hunting. These pads are a great lure to bring that trophy buck within range. They also calm deer down that are there in close quarters. Can be placed back in the pouch when done and used again. Freeze drying really intensifies that scent, making these pads so much better than any other product that's on the market today. Check them out today at www.kastaway.com with a K. Also, check out the cover scent pads, which also are available there. The cover scent pads come in acorn, corn, and persimmon. That's kastaway.com with a K. Trappers, heads up. Kodiak Scent Company is now producing an easy-to-use freeze-dried shrimp scent designed especially to be used with any cage trap. Kodiak puts the freeze-dried shrimp paste in a jar and includes it in a kit along with 4 tubes with hangers. Make it easily dipped into the paste jar and then can be hung at the back of the trap simply by placing it in between the slats. Freeze drying really intensifies the scent, making it extremely powerful. It will give you that little added edge, making it irresistible to your target. So make sure you check it out today at www.kastaway.com with a K. That's kastaway.com with a K. Kastaway.com with a K. Try it. It'll improve your trapping success. Well, welcome back. We'll give an update on how the food plots are doing. Well, we had some rain. So I came to, and look at that. Honeybee. Oh, didn't get, oh, that's good. Good. Feeding on the clover. But we had some rain. My gauge isn't working because it didn't show very much. But I came to the first food plot, and if you go to YouTube, you'll see the video of what I'm going to talk about here. But the brassicas that I put in come this field, this smaller, I don't know, maybe it's a half an acre, maybe not even a third or so. But it, 2 things. One is they're getting up there, the plants. They're really starting to do well. There are some places where it didn't plant like on the big one, which I don't understand, but looking at the trees, we're getting an early fall. There's still a lot of green, but what's been happening here is because of the drought that we had and dryness. So they're losing their leaves earlier than they should be. It's not time yet. But so maybe all this worked, but it was a little disheartening because not seeing, much plant growth, but they're starting to get some height to the plant, which is really encouraging. And having a little trouble getting the cameras going, but I do see some action from deer feeding on it, which that's a little surprising too, because it's too early for that. The clover fields are nice and green. Well, I know if this brassica is popping up from the dryness, the clover's going to do the same, and there's just going to be way more deer in here feeding on. So, okay, well, I'll head over to the big plot, check that out. There's a little bit of rain in the area, boy, but we need some more, so we'll go to the next spot and check that out. Okay, well, came out to the 1.5 acre food plot. Okay, just like the other, it's getting up there. Wow, we're getting some pretty good height to the plants, and the soil looks like it's pretty wet. So I guess we did get more moisture than my gauge showed, because the gauge I know has been acting up, but noticeable. Of course, we still have those strips where it didn't plant with whatever reason, but I'm seeing a lot of little plants just starting, so I don't know why it's a strip of nothing, but this is the best I've seen for this early. There's still a lot of growing season left, and to see this much, plus with this moisture, what's really gonna, this has only been a day and a half since the last rain, but it's going to be dry now for a while, but I guess that'll be, well, it'll have to be okay. But I've planted in the past. Oh, there's a deer on the far end feeding on the brassicas. It's got to be that there's moisture in it and there's a lot of dryness everywhere else, because it don't make sense. They shouldn't be in here feeding on that till later. When frost hits, it turns to sugar, then they'll eat, eventually they'll even eat the turnips and the other stuff that's growing underground. But to see this plot looking this good this early at deer season starting, in a little while, but I'm not going to go out till later when the rut's more on, but to see this much growth already and thickness to the plant, height to the plant, just the plant looks good. Oh boy, this is, yeah, the best I've had. It's in the past they just didn't do well at all. So I don't know, maybe the planting, I used brassicas in the past, but this is nice. It could be because I'm using the frigid forage, but I'm really pleased with this because we still got a lot of time, and then this should carry into late in the season, and then when the snow flies, this is where the deer should be. So between these two plots, look like we got something going here. So boy, that's encouraging when you put in a lot of work and you see that, okay, maybe it wasn't for nothing. Maybe not like the corn that was a disaster, the brassicas, and in some areas I see it's really thick and the plants are getting tall, and that's what looks so impressive. So, okay, well, success is on its way, hopefully. Middle of the day, 2 does and 2 yearlings are out. Boy, I can see the fall colors are starting to, yeah, they're not going to stay around. Boy, one big doe over there too, but yeah, it's out in the middle of the day and they're out feeding. Yeah, boy, it's really cool though. The colors are starting to, trees are turning, and rut's not far away probably. But nice day, checking the cameras, seeing what's on the cameras for what's hanging around. So got a few more cameras to check. Well, checking more cameras. go back to the house and see how they do. Checked on the blind, it's all okay. And check how the volunteer pumpkins are doing. They came up from the seeds. Oh, there's some orange ones here. Oh, look at 1, 2, 3 right there. And on this one, still got some blossoms. There's a little one there. Oh, there's a nice one here. Wow. Oh, still a lot of blossoms, but I don't think they'll produce anything. It's getting too late for that. But these are all, oh, look at this one here. Whoa, whoa. Wow. Oh, there's one turning, a little one down in there. But look at this guy. Whoa, that's a dandy. Wow. In fact, I think I'm going to pick him. Maybe take that one for the chickens. Wow. Man, that's a nice one. All volunteer. They just came up on their own from seeds that I threw to the deer. So, yeah, that's pretty good. It's about all I got out of this field because no corn stalks to be able to sell. And of course, no Indian corn, but boy, I sure got a lot of good weed, man. Look at all that. I think that's called foxtail. So, but move some cameras around, see what's happening as far as deer movement. Yeah, there are some deer tracks in here, so. But, oh, that's a heavy pumpkin. Wow. Okay, well, now go check the cameras, and turning out to be a nice fall day. For more information on the things we talk about, make sure to check out the website, www.kastaway.com. A lot of Kodiak products there as well, trapping, hunting, and fishing. Trappers, heads up! Kodiak Scent Company is now producing an easy-to-use freeze-dried shrimp scent designed especially to be used with any cage trap. Kodiak puts the freeze-dried shrimp paste in a jar and includes it in a kit along with 4 tubes with hangers. Make it easily dipped into the paste jar and then can be hung at the back of the trap simply by placing it in between the slats. Freeze drying really intensifies the scent, making it extremely powerful. It will give you that little added edge, making it irresistible to your targets. So make sure you check it out today at www.kastaway.com with a K. That's kastaway.com with a K. Kastaway.com with a K. Try it. It'll improve your trapping success.
Do you enjoy a good story about hunting or fishing? Then you need to get your hands on Tales from the Trails, the real-life adventures of Kastaway Kulis. Take a journey around the world with Joe as he recounts some of his best hunting and fishing trips, from Africa to Alaska, from behind the Iron Curtain to Australia. You can share in his memories through the book, complete with pictures to take you on the journey. It's a trip back in time looking through the eyes of an outdoors legend. Order your copy today on Amazon or at Kastaway.com. That's Kastaway with a K.com.
White-tailed deer hunters want that little edge while hunting deer? Why don't you consider Kodiak deer pads with freeze-dried doe estrus? These pads can be easily hung around the blind or tree stand while hunting. These pads are a great lure to bring that trophy buck within range. They also calm deer down that are there in close quarters. Can be placed back in the pouch when done and used again. Freeze drying really intensifies that scent, making these pads so much better than any other product that's on the market today. Check them out today at www.kastaway.com with a K. Also, check out the cover scent pads, which also are available there. The cover scent pads come in acorn, corn, and persimmon. That's Kastaway.com with a K. And now it's time for Memories Around the Campfire. My dream before I went to Africa was I thought the coolest thing ever would be to be charged by a Cape buffalo. I really thought that was the neatest thing. And on my first trip to Africa, the last day, it happened. I shot a Cape buffalo that was charging, which was pretty cool, and then rushed to the airport and on and on. But anyway, talked about the lions, but the other one that was pretty life threatening. That I guess would be the right term. So we had a guy from Florida, and he brought his own cameraman who worked at a television station in Miami. And he was filming, but he shot at a leopard and wounded it. And just like the lion thing, you know. But what was interesting, it went into this, I guess it was a dried out swamp, but it was low grass. And you figure, you look, if there's a leopard there, you'll see it. So had this other guy that was with me with the lion thing, big guy, stocky. And so we're walking, and I think I yelled over to the other guy, well, you know, somebody could get hurt from an unexperienced hunter, might have been the wording. And I said that, and within minutes, this guy, all I see is his gun goes flying through the air, and this leopard jumped on him. He's a big guy, and it knocked the gun off and knocked him down, but left him. And he was about maybe 15 yards to my left. And he turned, and he's coming right at me. And when that started to happen, there was a cut-off tree, and I remember standing on it, and he took like 1 or 2 bounds towards me, and then he turned, and he went to like he knew that wasn't the guy, and I wasn't the guy, but the other was the guy that wounded him. And it turned, and here it's going right at him. So he's going sideways. Now, this is that same 375, because I had the gun up already, and I'm getting ready to, when it was coming to me. But when I see he's going to the other guy, in another 1 or 2 bounds, that he's had it. Because if he couldn't hit him good when he was standing still, what's he going to do when he's charging? And so I shoot, and this cat rolls right to his feet. In the meantime, the guy shoots. So I went up there, and I knew I hit him. And I pretended to the guy that I missed him because he shot. It's literally at his feet, dead. And the cameraman gets all of this. So like I was talking last week, it's the next day that you think about it. Somebody else could have got hurt, killed, whatever, maimed forever. the thing about the whole trip, so we skinned it out and everything. Well, I didn't show him, but it's obvious that the bullet hole was in the side, so he couldn't hit it. But I wanted him to believe that he shot it. So I didn't show him the carcass, and so I skinned it out, and I mounted it for him. So then about a week later, he gives me a call, and the cameraman got all of this. And the guy says, I didn't kill that leopard. You could see, he said in the video, you could see the mud from his bullet on the back side where it went in the mud. How the heck I could hit a leopard going sideways, bounding, and at 15 yards and kill it, or even just hit it, but it hit it exactly where it should have, where it killed it right now. It rolled at his feet dead. But how I mentioned about the lions, you think about it, and that's when it hits like, wow, yeah, you were calm through the whole thing. And I still believe it's like some kind of a shock. But after you stop and think, you're laying in bed and thinking, what if? What if? What if? I mean, there could have been a lot of what ifs. But it was amazing they could lay that low, and you're looking.
Can't see him.
You can't see him. I mean, they can lay flat. And he was, I guarantee you, he wasn't looking any way but the way we were coming. Mm-hmm. But he saw that guy, and it's like he knew, okay, that's not the guy. Made a turn, no, that's not the guy. Like he knew who wounded him, But I'll never forget that. But it was the next day, and for quite a few days after that. Eventually it'll wear off. But it was back to like the lions. When you know what you're doing, it's not a big deal. It's automatic. And that gun just happened to fit me really well. And that was a big thing too. Open sights, you can't use a scope on anything like that.
You can't point it that quick,
Right. And like the one lion was shot from the hip. That was
that
luck.
A side-by-side, or was that a
No, that
bolt?
was a bolt. It was a 375 bolt. And it was just like, it's amazing how some things fit you. Well, like Carl, I said it before, Carl in his slingshot. It seems like I could point my finger just as well and shoot something with that gun, But it was, that was a pretty exciting, and I wanted the hunter to think he killed it, made him feel good. But it was obvious when you saw the bullet hole. But when he got the video and shows the bullet going in the mud on the other side, that was pretty cool. I've been lucky to do all these things, and the biggest blessing
and
is
still
remembering.
be 81 years old.
Yeah, is remembering them, and I can remember it if it happened like it happened today. Everything. I know where the guys were. I remember the gun flying up in the air, and I remember the leopard's path towards me and then towards the other guy. And luckily, he was far enough away, the last guy. Well, we put him at the end of this little dried-out swamp because we figured we'd drive it to him.
Those leopards, they go right for the throat,
Yes.
They rip the throat out. Boom, that's
and
it.
use their hind feet to take your guts out.
Rip your guts and tear your throat out.
They're a powerful animal. 100-pound leopard, 120-pound.
They'll pull 300-pound person up the tree like nothing,
Yeah, it's amazing how strong they are. Wildlife is something, but can't do that stuff today. You got to have a lot of money, and even then, it's things are. It was a blessing, born when I was and was able to do the things I did when I did them. Because now, you either got to be a multimillionaire or you can't just even do it. Period.
No, I can't.
Or you can't go there because then they stopped hunting in Kenya.
Yeah,
can't hunt. Period.
Different time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Different. Well, I hoped you enjoyed the memories around the campfire, and we have a lot more to do in the future. Every week we're going to have one of my trips somewhere. I made 61 trips to Alaska, so there's a wealth of stories from there. Africa 15 times, so there's a lot of memories there that around the campfire. That's a cool thing about a hunting camp. Fishing sometimes, but for sure a hunting camp, because it's usually fall or early spring, so you've got a campfire going, and that's the perfect place to sit around after the day and reminisce how things went and what you saw and plans for the next day. So a campfire is a good gathering place at the end of the day to reminisce of what happened. And that's what these stories will deal with. There'll also be some from Mongolia and from Russia and a lot of the Canadian provinces, Northwest Territories and the Yukon, up stone sheep hunting. So it's a place you gather, and those are where you remember those, and sitting around and up in the mountains making a small campfire and maybe eating some wild sheep, which is the number one wild game by far. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of meat, and you bring back what you can, but after you keep everything out, there's not a lot. But of course, great for moose and the caribou and all those other wild game meats. But sheep is definitely the best and probably the most enjoyable. So, like I said, there'll be a lot more to come in the future. And so you got to make sure you tune in every week so you'll catch them. And you never know which one is going to be next. And it'll always be a surprise. So you have to listen in to catch it. So hope you enjoyed it. And we'll move on. And we're going to go on to the next segment. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Do you enjoy a good story about hunting or fishing? Then you need to get your hands on Tales from the Trails, the real-life adventures of Kastaway Kulis. Take a journey around the world with Joe as he recounts some of his best hunting and fishing trips, from Africa to Alaska, from behind the Iron Curtain to Australia. You can share in his memories through the book, complete with pictures to take you on the journey. It's a trip back in time looking through the eyes of an outdoors legend. Order your copy today on Amazon or at Kastaway.com. That's Kastaway with a K.com.
For those that fish Lake Erie and are used to fishing with dipsy divers, I think they've got to try my diver, Kastaway's magnetic diver. And what's so neat about it, it's a magnetic release. So you don't have to fight. But the problem with the regular dipsies is that they'll trip. You got to bring them in.
Or sometimes they won't trip.
Or they won't trip. This is a magnetic release, so you let it into the water, and as it has slack, it falls and it sets and then dives. And then when a fish hits it, it trips it, comes to the surface and comes in. But the neat thing about it as well is you can fish with it. You can trip it. You can let it come up through the water column. You can reset it. So it's a great way to get a bait down and away from the boat. So it's Kastaway's magnetic diver, but it's something, if you're a troller, you need to look into. It's a great product and a great way to make fishing a lot easier and a lot more productive. Order yours today.
No matter what species of fish you target, Kodiak Scents has great products that will help you catch more fish. One of those is Kodiak Candy, specifically designed to attract any species you fish for. Panfish, trout, catfish, or walleye, Kodiak Candy is full of freeze-dried scent. Freeze-drying concentrates the scent and makes it irresistible. Kodiak Candy even works on saltwater fish. Easy to put on the hook, this candy will get the fish's attention and trigger more bites. To order your Kodiak Candy or any of the line of Kodiak scent products, head to www.kastaway.com. That's Kastaway with a K.
Welcome back. In this segment, I want to talk about taxidermy mounts and what you can do to rejuvenate them and make them look like new again and give them life. And some simple things the average person can do. So I think I'd like to start maybe with a simple thing of birds. Birds and pheasants and ducks and mounts you might have that get dusty. There's some very simple things you could do with those, and it's take a loaf of white bread, break it, and just rub the feathers, always going with the feathers. And that'll do, that's about all you really can do. You can take, like the eyes, very carefully. You could take clear nail polish and you could just carefully put it on the eyes just to brighten them up a little bit. Same thing with the bill, same thing on ducks. Now, a lot of time ducks, if they weren't taken care of properly and all the fat taken off the skin, there could be some oily. And it's a little bit harder project, so probably wouldn't tackle that. But like on small game, squirrels and fox and coyotes, if you have a vacuum, better yet, if you have a compressor where you could blow air, that's ideal. You can take it outside first, number one, put it on the deck or whatever, and you can test it not real close, but you can blow the dust off the mount, so you could go with the hair in the beginning, but then carefully, want to make it look really good, you can fluff it up by blowing it against it. If you don't like the way it is, then you could go back. Some mounts it looks good on, others it might not, so depending on what it is. But it's a good way to blow that dust off. Same thing with the eyes. You could, put or a clear lacquer, but it seems like a clear nail polish comes with a little brush. So that would be good with the eyes. If you're really careful on, say, an open mouth on a fox or coyote or something, you can put tissue paper around it and you could get a good spray. Now, depending on what you like, some like a good high gloss. You could get gloss, high gloss. You could get a matte finish too. But I would lean more towards satin or gloss and spray carefully inside the mouth. You could also put tissue paper or a rag around, say, the nose and just spritz it just lightly. That's really good on bears as well. The other thing you could do on a bear is maybe back to that nail polish or a clear gloss that you could get in a liquid, and you could gloss the claws, but carefully not to get it on that guard hair that's at the back of any of the bear claws or any of those. It'll brighten it up just that little bit. The fish is another thing you could do a lot with. They get dusty, and what I would do with them is take some Dawn soapy water, and you won't hurt it. You can wipe it down with a sponge pretty good. And on the dorsal, there's pockets where dust could sit. You could wipe it in there, wipe down the whole fish, again going with the scales, head to tail. And then after it's dry, you could do the same thing with a spray gloss. Now, it's a little bit tricky. The main thing, if you're going to re-gloss any of the fish, I'd practice maybe on the back side. But what you want to do is start at the tail, and you don't want to be too close to it, but the trick is a real important trick that I learned on a big fish is hard to do. You need to keep the fish wet all at one time. You can't go back and forth. You got to start and go in one direction and get it wet and keep going until it's at the end. You can't go back. It's a one direction only, and you don't want to put in too much. So I'd experiment but you could do any fish there is, really. It's going to really brighten it up. The main thing that does is it brings the colors out, because there's actually, if it's done correctly, you can get the depth of those colors to really pop. So I think that's a really important thing to think about, and to brighten them up, and just make sure no dust in the area, no wind, no nothing. If you do it outside, you don't want any dust blowing on it. And then just let it dry. Same thing getting to your game heads. You can gloss the eye. You could carefully, depending on it, you take tissue paper and kind of block it off, and you could, like we talked about the fish, just dust the nose. It's going to make it really pop. Maybe the nose, some of the paint is chipped off, and usually you could get by with a black, brown, or black, depending on the mount. The older mounts didn't spend the time like newer mounts as far as more grays and browns on a deer nose, but you could do that with a deer or an elk or a bear head, even a moose. The antlers, I would take those, I'd wipe them down like we did the fish and the Dawn soapy water, and then you could needs foot oil, a light oil, any of the light oils would work. Pretty sure you could also use WD-40. Don't know how long it lasts, but just oil those antlers down, but don't do that to a sheep. Don't put oil on sheep horns. You can put a wax, but do not put oil. It'll darken them. But you can really spruce them up and wipe on any of those, the deer, elk, moose, bear. Bear's something else. With the others, though, wipe with the hair. Don't go against the grain. You can break hair, especially on sheep. They tend to be brittle. The hair is brittle. Bear, there's one that you could blow with the compressor against the hair and fluff it. And one time I had a customer had a bear that I didn't mount, and it was home tanned, and it was oily, and the hair was matted. It looked like a 100-pound bear, and it should have been a 400-pound bear. And what I did is I took it outside and I hosed it down. I put Dawn soapy water. You could do it, you just don't want to soak that hair because it could get soft. If it does a little bit, you don't touch it, it's not going to go anywhere. If it's mounted correctly, the glue will be holding it down. But this thing looked like a soapy mess. And then I took the hose and I hosed it all off really good, and then I blew air and blew air and blew air. And that thing turned into the best looking mount. The guy didn't recognize it. It looked like a 400-pound bear again. It was a gamble, but it was just so bad it was worth it. And did it outside, of course, in the summertime when it's warm. You might want to tackle that if you really have a bad mount and have nothing to lose. Otherwise, take it to a taxidermist and let him do it. So we covered the fish and birds, small game, big game heads, rugs. Rugs are not a lot you could do with them. We talked about the head, the nose, the mouth, the eyes. Basically, what you could do is take it outside. You could hang it, and there's probably, if it's been on the floor, it's probably loaded with dirt. If it's on the wall, probably not. But you can take and hang it up of some, or put it over a clothesline, and you could hit it from the backside to get dirt and dust out, like they used to do rugs outside, from the backside. You could then take that air compressor and blow it with the grain, against the grain, to fluff it, to get the dirt out. And so hopefully those are some of the things that'll help you with liven up your mounts. And hope you enjoyed the show, and a lot of good things. You have questions or comments, give me a buzz on the email at jkulis@kastaway.com. And if you have any topics or questions, we'll see what we can do. So until next time, this is Kastaway Kulis saying so long from the outdoor world of Kastaway Kulis.
Do you enjoy a good story about hunting or fishing? Then you need to get your hands on Tales from the Trails, the real-life adventures of Kastaway Kulis. Take a journey around the world with Joe as he recounts some of his best hunting and fishing trips, from Africa to Alaska, from behind the Iron Curtain to Australia. You can share in his memories through the book, complete with pictures to take you on the journey. It's a trip back in time looking through the eyes of an outdoors legend. Order your copy today on Amazon or at Kastaway.com. That's Kastaway with a K.com.
Trappers, heads up. Kodiak Scent Company is now producing an easy-to-use freeze-dried shrimp scent designed especially to be used with any cage trap. Kodiak puts the freeze-dried shrimp paste in a jar and includes it in a kit along with 4 tubes with hangers. Make it easily dipped into the paste jar and then can be hung at the back of the trap simply by placing it in between the slats. Freeze drying really intensifies the scent, making it extremely powerful. It will give you that little added edge, making it irresistible to your target. So make sure you check it out today at www.kastaway.com with a K. That's Kastaway.com with a K. Kastaway.com with a K. Try it. It'll improve your trapping success.